Good morning, Coach. Just wanted to get a thought from you post game during the celebration in the locker room last night. Vitek Vanacek got the puck, and the way he was recognized, and again to see him get recognized for the hard work that he's done and the pro he's been since he's come to the team. What did that mean to see that?
Well, and I think the guy that might have done it was Yona Gadjevich, who got the puck last year, having not played. I think he just had twin babies. So there's a great recognition and care in the room for all the hard work that goes on. And some of those guys don't get to be on the ice for a celebration after a win, but they're critical to the group, to the personality of the group, and the closeness of it.
Next is George Richards.
Hey, Paul, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, how much of a difference is it this year after you get win number 3 as opposed to last year? I just remember hearing you guys talk about not being able to sleep the night before. Do you think you guys are going to be able to handle it a little bit differently this time around?
Well,
Just
we're hopeful. Certainly the context changes when you get this close, but having a bit of an experience does matter. It does help in this. I think we were all pretty wired after game 3 last year, and I think we can handle that a bit better now.
Next up, Jamison Olive.
Just looking at the numbers here, Panthers right now, 8th most goals ever in a playoff run. Obviously, this is a defensive team that doesn't cheat for offense. Just given that, how impressive is that number when you look at the fact that this is a defensively sound team, first and foremost?
Yeah, I think the early games probably been more wide open than we would prefer, but I'm not sure we can stop a lot of that. We've tried to. We were pretty solid with it. The additions, we put 2 offensive drivers in our lineup at the trade deadline, and those 2 guys have impacted the players around them. It's not just the pucks they put in the net, but they've made the players around them more productive, and it's been able to kind of flatten out the pressure, if you will, on the shooters. So if a guy has a 3 or 4 game stretch where he's not scoring, he doesn't feel that. It doesn't affect his game.
Next up, Stephen Wino.
Hey, Paul, I'm sure you've had playoff series or playoff runs where you're like, I don't know what goalie he's going to play. How nice has it been the last couple of years to know it's Sergei Bobrovsky in net, and how big of an impact do you think he's had on this series with the timely saves he's made?
Yeah, I mean, he's the incredible elite player that gets totally underappreciated, taken for granted, I guess, by us because he's so consistent with his game. And if one gets by him that he doesn't like, it has nothing to do with what's going to happen next. His ability to focus is trained, right? Like maybe it's a talent. I don't know. I just know that he put so much time into his focus and his ability, and then the experience that he has. So there's a calmness that comes with Sergei that's spread throughout the team.
Our next question is from Tracy Myers.
Good morning, Paul. Just wondering, you guys have been very good home and away, but especially on the road, you've been fantastic. Is there a way, or do you try to take a road mentality and bring it home?
Yeah. I think we try to play the exact same game, truly. So our road record like this year wasn't as good as last year. We were good for a while, and we got really banged up at the end of the year and played a whole bunch of games on the road, and a lot of them were back to back. But we were only a couple of games over 500. But I didn't mind our game. Like, it wasn't that we weren't playing well. We've always felt comfortable on the road. I don't think our game changes. I think there's a comfort to where we play it. I don't think that the road or home, there's a difference in our mentality.
We'll take a few more questions. Next question comes from Paul Strzeski.
Paul, Tracy just addressed a part of what I was going to ask. You guys are 10-3 on the road, which means you played a bunch more games on the road this playoff season than home games, right? Because you had to start a bunch of series on the road. That's historically good. There's no other team in history that has won more playoff games than 10 in a playoff season. Can you maybe point your finger to what has made you this good and maybe take certain aspects of that road game to home where you guys are one win away from taking it all?
Yeah. We knew fairly early before the playoffs started that we were very probably going to start on the road and may in fact have to run series on the road. And just by the way our schedule laid out, the people that we had out of our lineup, the injuries and things like that, it's been very difficult for us to get to a home seat situation. Maybe it's good that I don't have an answer for you. That I can't find something that's different on the road, or can't go in there and say, there's this piece of our road game I'd like to take back home. Maybe the strength that there is no difference, and we don't recognize the difference, and I can't find one. If I could, I'd bring it home. But our survival to this point has been that we're really been very, very strong on the road.
Next question, Dave Hyde.
Paul, because of the importance of Brad Marchand these playoffs, I want to go back to the trade deadline where we're all sitting there in the last minutes of the deadline, the deal's announced. I was just, from your vantage point, what do you remember that day? Were you surprised? Obviously, you have a lot more knowledge than we do, but were you surprised the deal was done because of the last minute of it?
Not sure I have that much more knowledge, to be honest with you. I was leaving, as a matter of fact. There was a half hour before the end of the trade deadline, and I was going in to say, "Good job, fellas, and I'll see you tomorrow." And Bill came out and said, "What about Brad Marchand?" So I used to, if he had asked that a year and a half ago, I would have thought he was joking. And then he's just been able to find these players that we just didn't think were possible, and he's been able to get those deals done. So when he fired that out, everybody just kind of, I think there was a bit of a pause. His face was serious. Everybody nodded, and that's it.
We'll take two more questions. Next up, David Dwork.
Hey, Paul, sticking with Marshy for a second, we've talked a lot about how great of a room you guys have had over the last few years and how playoff ready you were. And just in terms of deadline additions, why do you think adding Marshy was so crucial to help the team and give them such a boost heading into the playoffs, just considering how great of a room they already were? What secret sauce do you think he added?
Well, one of the things that he did for us is he came in and filled the Tarasenko hole. If you look at the additions last year that were really critical for us, having Vlad come in and play with Lundell and Luostarinen allowed the rest of the lines to get into a structure where there's only one or two moving parts there if you can stay healthy. So he came in, and then the timing of it was so right. Anton Lundell was a different player than he was this year last year at this time. He's ready. And so is Eetu Luostarinen, and they're ready to take that step, and they have taken that step into an offense. So we had he just happened to be the perfect style of player to take that line to a completely different level. And that's where our need was. And what Bill has always done here, in my experience, he's identified the need and filled the hole.
We'll take one more question. Stephen Wino, go ahead.
Paul, your third and fourth lines, obviously, the Luostarinen, Lundell, Marchand, and that fourth line. How important have those guys been just to producing, obviously, the goals they produce, but also everything that fourth line does in terms of forecheck heaviness and kind of grinding on an opponent?
No, well, we're not here without them. We're down 0-2 in the Toronto series, and we're in trouble. And the Nosek line comes back in, and they come back in because they had had this great month of quality, heavy play. And when you go through the list of goals, and that's just not goals like that. Those three guys are all penalty killers, right? The Lundell line is producing offense. Marchand's producing offense. These guys have good numbers, but they're all penalty killers, and that's what makes them special, because there's no cheat in their game. They're both of the Finns, if you will. That's the style of game they grew up playing, and then you have Brad Marchand, who played with Patrice Bergeron for so very long. That instinct is there in him in the way he plays. So both of those lines have a strong identity, and they shape the identity of our team.
Thank you for your time, Paul.
Okay, guys.